Hey friends, happy Monday. I hope you all are doing well. It's been a while since I've come live on here, so I just wanted to do that. I had a message to share, just kind of a message or a theme that has come through today and in my life, in my practice. And so the conversation is about self-care. And I know if you're on Instagram, self-care Saturday, self-care Sunday, self-care, right? These are words, hashtags that we see all over the place. And in some ways that can feel very familiar. It can feel very commercialized. This is something that I appreciate spending the time exploring and being curious about because it's true, there's an actual and genuine need when it comes to self-care. And we all need moments to rest, moments to relax, and more specifically, we need to be able to offer ourselves soothing and calming. We need to offer ourselves opportunities to get resourced. And what I mean by resourced is to refill so that you are that you have the resources that you need, the energy, and that you have the capacity to be with the other people in your life that you need to and want to be with. So when I talk about self-care, and I see a few friends jumped on, hey Juniper, hey Katie, when we talk about self-care, it can be super commercialized. It can be like, okay, go get a pedi with your girlfriends, which can absolutely be an act of self-care. And I've talked about this here before. But self-care, as I was talking to a mother today, we were kind of strategizing about what could be a moment of self-care for her in her life as it already is. So something that is not going to make her adjust her entire daily schedule, not going to force her to like add this thing, because sometimes things feel like work. And when self-care feels like work, it's going to be less likely that we fall into that ritual and that pattern. Personally, I'm currently working on all of this very heavily. Right now, I'm working with Fanny. She's the Yoga of Desire here on Instagram, and I'm working on creating my own rituals and self-care practices, and one of those being basically a strategy for closing work. Because I'm a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, I work with clients often until the evening, sometimes until 8 o'clock. I start my morning with writing, which can kind of like slowly trickle into work. And so before you know it, I can easily work, 12-hour days nonstop. I like to write on the weekends. So for me, I am working on this building a closing of my workday. So a self-care practice of wrapping up the workday and moving into my personal time. And so one thing Fanny and I talked about today is just having looking at the next day ahead, seeing what I have coming up tomorrow, seeing if there's, one or two tasks that I need to do to be prepared for that, and then having sort of a moment of closing. Maybe it's going to be lighting a candle, maybe it's going to be doing a couple of yoga stretches, maybe lighting some sage, picking up the amethyst rock that I love. So creating some end of day ritual. Now with clients, so today I was working with both a parent client and we were talking about self-care, and then later with a teenage client we were talking about self-care. And the parent, she found out that what she would like to do is just sit with her coffee after her son goes off to school and give herself just 10 minutes to be with herself. And this is where it really clicked for me that self-care, yes, it's about relaxation, refueling, rejuvenation. I often think of those words, but it's really a connection to yourself. So yeah, it's literal, right? Self-care, care for self, but it's really about connecting to yourself and letting yourself be and take up a little bit of space to check in and see what your needs are and to check in to see how you're doing. So with this mom, the 10 minutes of coffee, that's self-care. Period. She didn't have to buy anything. I mean, she has to buy the coffee, but she's buying it anyways, right? All the moms out there that are like, well, duh, hell yeah, she's buying the coffee. But it's not an extra thing. It is not work. She's not having to really add anything in other than just a pause. She's adding a pause, and I really appreciate that. So this afternoon, when I was talking with a teenager, we were strategizing about some self-care practices that she could utilize to end her day, like stop the homework and move into nighttime without going into an anxious cycle of like, stress about the tests and the papers that are coming up the next day or the next week. This is particularly happening to her on Sundays, which, oh my gosh, as a teacher, Sundays were the freaking worst. Like Sundays, I would have so much anxiety about the week ahead. So this is very familiar to me, but just on the other side of the roles. So for her, one thing that she was coming up with was picking out her outfit for the next day, because that's something that excites her. It makes her feel joyful. It's just like she's into fashion. She's into how, she cares about how she looks. And so picking out her outfit was an easy going with her flow and her routine strategy that she picked today that she's going to try out this week. She was also talking about watching one of her favorite YouTubers before bed. Of course, we addressed using blue blockers, whether it be the night shift on her iPhone or getting some glasses, but she came up with a couple of strategies to try that are her self-care strategies, or her connecting to herself, connecting to her needs, and doing this as a way to sustain ourselves, to be resourced. So I just wanted to share that little bit about self-care. It feels really important, especially in this world where, we hop on Instagram and everyone's asking us to buy a thing, or we see all these products and it feels like, oh shit, I need that face wash, or I need those bras, or I need whatever, that diffuser, I need those, whatever, all these things, right? We have so much influence from the consumerism of the society that we're in. So this is really just an invitation for you to think about the patterns that you already have in your life and in your day, and to see if there is something that you can add into that flow, something that you can add into what you're already doing, to offer yourself a connection to yourself. So I'll be really curious to see what you all come up with. I'd love for you to send me a message if you think of a self-care strategy, a connection to self strategy that fits into your day, that is not adding work, but is adding soothing. And I'd love to hear what that is for you. So I hope you all have a good week, and I will hopefully... my phone fell. I hope you have a great week. Hey, good to see you, Rodney. Sorry about the tech. I need techie right now. I need tech help. My phone the tripod fell over. So, okay, y'all, have a good week. Talk to you soon.